Good morning, all of you. We are continuing with chapter 6 physical and chemical changes. Okay, so last time in the class we studied about physical changes. We are here to discuss about the further chemical changes and remaining part of the lesson. Let's continue. Before that, let's just study or try to understand what we studied in the previous class. So, a summary of the previous lesson. In the previous class, we studied changes in which we get the original substance back. Then we studied about the changes in which we do not get the original substance back. Then we studied about the physical properties of a substance and we studied what is a physical change. So today we will be studying chemical changes. So all of you might be remembering what are the physical properties of the substance. Those properties which we can find out from their appearance. Physical changes means changes in these properties like shape, size, etc. Such kind of things we call that the physical change. Today we are going to study about the chemical changes. So let us study and let us continue with our class. So one of the best example of the chemical change, it is the rusting of iron. So what is this rusting of iron? Actually, if you leave a piece of iron in the open for some time, it acquires a film of brown substance. This is called as rust, and the process is called as rusting of iron. You can see brown film is formed, a brown colored powder. Okay, so this is called as rust. And almost every article of iron that is kept in the open, it is getting rusted. At homes we can see shovels, spades, all are getting rusted when they are exposed to the atmosphere. Similarly, in the kitchen we see some materials like iron pan. It gets rusted when it is not in use. So rust is not iron. Rust gets deposited on iron. You can remove this rust. You can make a suspension of this rust. And you can see even that the red litmus paper, it turns blue. So rust is of such nature. It's a brownish kind of powder. So let us continue further. This is one of the best example of the chemical change. Let us study further through the experiments what these chemical changes are. So these chemical changes, let us try to find out in the form of different activities. So just let us see activity 6.6. So in this activity 6.6, what you have to do, you have to get a small piece of magnesium strip, right? So you'll get a small piece of magnesium strip. It looks like this. Huh? So it's a kind of shining metal, right? Available in strips. It's a bit costly, right? You don't get it here and there. It's available in the laboratory. So it's a shining kind of strip with shining kind of metal. Now what you do? You clean its tip with a sandpaper. Okay. If you clean its tip, it looks clean, and bring the tip near a candle flame. In case you don't have a candle flame, you can use a matchstick and you can burn it. Huh? But a pair of tongs, it is needed for that. This experiment can be done purely in the laboratory only. So what you do, get a small piece of magnesium strip, clean its tip with a sandpaper, bring the tip near a candle flame, or you just burn it using a pair of tongs and a matchstick. What happens? You can see that it burns with a brilliant white light, right? The laboratory, if you hold it, what happens? It burns brightly with a brilliant white light. It's just like a shining. Your eyes cannot even bear that much brightly it shines, right? So next, let us see what to do. So when it is completely burned, it leaves behind a powdery ash. Okay, when this magnesium strip you take, it's a shining piece, you burn it, okay, and you get a bright, brilliant white light, what happens? It leaves behind a white colored powdery ash. This ash, does it look like the magnesium ribbon? Of course, even in the pictures you can see it doesn't look. So this change, it can be represented by a following equation. So magnesium, it burns in oxygen. Okay, usually burning, anything which burns, it burns in the presence of oxygen. If there is no oxygen, no burning will take place. And this results in the formation of a completely new substance, a white colored powdery ash, which is called as magnesium oxide. It represented as MgO. Magnesium as Mg, oxygen as O2, and magnesium oxide as MgO. So this is a totally new substance for you, right? So then what you do, you collect that ash, that white powdery ash, you collect the ash, okay, and you mix it with a small amount of water. What you do, you mix it with a small amount of water. Then you can see a new substance is formed. Stir it well and you test it with a red litmus and a blue litmus paper. On the basis of the test, you can classify magnesium hydroxide as a strong base. Okay, so magnesium oxide, when you dissolve it in water, that is this white powder you dissolve in water, you get magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide is a strong base. Okay, what it has the ability of turning even red litmus to blue in color. So moving further, let us see activity 6.7. In activity 6.6, we saw the burning of magnesium ribbon. Let us see activity 6.7. What are the things we are going to do? So in this, what you do, you dissolve a teaspoonful of copper sulfate in half cup of water in a tumbler or a beaker. So what you do, you take a copper sulfate powder you get, okay, and you dissolve it like this. You get on the screen, you can see, you get the powder, and what you do is you dissolve it in a half cup of water in a tumbler or a beaker, and you add a few drops of sulfuric acid solution to it. What you do, you add a few drops of sulfuric acid solution to it. So you will get a blue colored solution. Okay, just like what it looks in the picture, you will get a dark blue colored solution. Depends upon how much sulfuric acid you are using. Okay, then take some solution in a beaker. Okay, you have to take some solution in a beaker and you have to drop a nail or a blade in the solution. Okay, and you have to observe the color of the solution after some time. Okay, so let us see what happens. You can see on the screen itself it turns blue in green in color, right? But let us continue further. So the solution becomes green in color. Okay, why it becomes green in color? It is because copper sulfate, that is blue in color, it reacts with iron. Okay, iron, that is the razor blade or the nail which we are using. It's made out of iron. And this results in the formation of a new substance called as iron sulfate. So iron sulfate is green in color. What is the color of iron sulfate? It is green in color, right? So the copper sulfate solution, which is blue in color, you take it, and what you do, you is you drop a iron, okay, either a razor blade or a needle in that, and you keep it for some time. What you get a iron sulfate solution. It's green in color, right? You can see in the picture itself. Blue has totally changed into green color. Iron sulfate is green in color, whereas copper sulfate is blue in color. You can observe the change in color. Plus copper, and you can see the razor blade in the picture has turned brown in color. That powder, if you take, you can see that brown color, right? So this is what your observation is. Copper sulfate is blue in color and iron sulfate is a green solution, right? Now further activity 6.8. For activity 6.8, you take a spoonful of vinegar in a test tube. What you do? You take a spoonful of vinegar in a test tube and you add a pinch of baking soda to it. You get baking soda in your home, right? So you take baking soda and you add it to vinegar. What happens? It produces a hissing sound and you can see the gas bubbles that are coming out, right? You can see a large amount of gas bubbles. In the third picture you can see. You have to pass this gas through a freshly prepared lime water solution. Okay, this gas is occurring. Why this is produced? Why this gas is produced with a hissing sound? Gas bubbles you can see coming out. So actually the reaction is vinegar, that is acetic acid. It reacts with baking soda. The name of this baking soda, chemical name is sodium hydrogen carbonate. What is the chemical name of baking soda? Sodium hydrogen carbonate. So this acetic acid react with the sodium hydrogen carbonate, producing the carbon dioxide gas, okay, along with some other substances. But mainly here we are testing carbon dioxide gas. Now what you have to do is you have to allow this carbon dioxide gas to pass through a freshly prepared solution of lime water. Okay. So you have to pass this gas through a freshly prepared lime water solution. The reaction between carbon dioxide and lime water is as follows. You can see the reaction in your textbook also. Carbon dioxide plus lime water gives calcium carbonate plus water. Okay. Carbon dioxide on passing carbon dioxide to lime water. Lime water is actually colorless. What you get? You get a white precipitate like. Okay, that is of calcium carbonate, right? So you can see test for carbon dioxide. Initially the lime water is colorless, it's transparent. Now it turns milky. Okay, we call it as milky. It's a milky white color. So it turns milky, right? You can see the difference in the test tube, colors of the test tubes, right? Color of the solution in the test tube. So carbon dioxide turns lime water cloudy or milky. Okay, so carbon dioxide plus calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, it gives calcium carbonate plus water. You can see the equations over there, right? Those are the equations. So in each of these activities you saw a change. You did activity 6.6, 6.7 and 6.8. In each of these activities what you saw? You saw a change. In activity 6.6 what you saw? You saw that ash was formed by burning of magnesium, right? When you burn the magnesium ribbon you get a white colored ash. That was shown to you, right? In activity 6.7 you saw that iron sulfate was formed. Iron sulfate was green in color and the copper sulfate was blue in color. So copper sulfate react with iron to give iron sulfate, that is green in color. And in activity 6.8 we saw that the colorless lime water, it turned milky because of the passing of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so in all these three cases, that is activity 6.6, 6.7 and 6.8, you saw that new substance were formed. So from this you can understand what is a chemical change. So a change in which one or more new substances are formed. Such changes we call as chemical changes. A chemical change is also having a chemical reaction, or you also call it as a chemical reaction, right? So chemical change, new substances are formed and you cannot get the original substance back. Okay, chemical reactions occur in a chemical change, right? So with this we are ending today's class, waiting for your online class. Okay, so all of you eager for the online class. Okay, thank you.